Hi, I'm Lila. I always believed that blood was thicker than water until my own sister traded me for money. This isn't just a story about betrayal, it's a story about discovering the truth behind the people you trust the most. So grab some popcorn, because what happened next will shock you. Growing up, I always admired my older sister, Naomi. She was stunning, popular, and always had this way of charming everyone, especially our parents. Meanwhile, I was the quiet one, the backup daughter, as I used to joke. But truthfully, I didn't mind. I loved her. And even when she got away with things I'd be grounded for, I thought, that's just what older siblings are like. We lived in a cozy little house with our parents, who ran a small antique shop. We weren't rich, but we were close. Or, at least that's what I believed. One evening, a sleek black car pulled up in front of our house. Out stepped a man in a tailored suit with a briefcase and a forced smile. He introduced himself as Mr. Aldridge, claiming he represented a distant relative of ours, one we'd never heard of. He said this relative, an extremely wealthy widow, was looking to adopt a teenage girl to pass her fortune on to. It sounded insane, like something out of a Victorian novel. But before I could laugh it off, Naomi leaned forward and asked, would she get to live in a mansion? Mr. Aldridge smiled and nodded. With all the luxury you can imagine, I felt a knot in my stomach. Something didn't feel right. But Naomi's eyes sparkled like she'd just won the lottery. That night I couldn't sleep. Something about Mr. Aldridge's visit made my skin crawl. I even tried talking to Naomi about it, but she brushed me off like I was being paranoid. Are you seriously jealous right now? She snapped, applying lip gloss in the mirror. No, I said softly. I just think it's weird. Why would a rich stranger want to adopt a teenager out of nowhere? She rolled her eyes. Maybe some people get lucky, Lila. Maybe I deserve a break from this boring life. Her words stung. She was talking like she already lived there, like she already belonged somewhere else. 2 days later, my parents called us into the kitchen. Their faces were pale and tight. Naomi, Mom said quietly, we've discussed it, and if this is what you want, we won't stop you. I stared at them in disbelief. They were letting her go. Naomi didn't even hesitate. She packed her things that same evening, barely glancing at me. Before leaving, she looked back only once and said, don't worry, I'll visit maybe. Weeks passed, and at first, Naomi did send updates. Selfies from inside a marble-floored mansion. Pictures of extravagant dinners. Videos of a golden retriever she named Prince. But soon, the messages stopped. Completely. I'd ask Mom and Dad if they heard anything, but they'd just say, she's probably busy settling in. But I wasn't buying it. Naomi lived for attention. The silence wasn't normal. One night, I stayed up late scrolling through one of her old Instagram accounts. Suddenly, a new story popped up, then disappeared in less than a second. I only caught a flash of it, a blurry image of Naomi in what looked like a hospital room. Her eyes were red. Her lip was bruised. I gasped. I knew that place wasn't what it seemed. I knew something was wrong. But when I told my parents, they looked at me like I was overreacting. Lila, Dad said gently, don't let your imagination run wild. She's fine. I wasn't so sure anymore. I couldn't sleep after seeing that image. I kept replaying it in my head. Naomi, bruised and scared in a place that was supposed to be her dream home. So I did what any desperate sister would do. I messaged her nonstop. I called. I even tried demanding Mr. Aldridge's account, which had exactly one creepy post. A blurry photo of the mansion with the caption, "Home is where they listen." Then, just as I was about to give up, my phone buzzed. Incoming call, Naomi. My heart jumped into my throat. I answered immediately. Naomi! She didn't speak for a second. I could hear her shaky breathing. Then a whisper. Lila! I made a mistake. I sat up straight. What's going on? Are you okay? No. I can't talk long. They monitor everything. But this place, it's not what they said it was. Mr. Aldridge is. Click. The call cut out. I screamed into my pillow. What was she trying to tell me? I started doing real digging the next morning. I searched Mr. Aldridge's name online, but nothing. No business records. No background. It was like he didn't exist. Even the mansion? No address. Just vague mentions on real estate forums about that place near the woods with weird rumors and a history of disappearances. Disappeared girls. I showed my parents the evidence, desperate for them to believe me, but they were stuck in denial. Don't feed into internet hysteria, Mom said, folding laundry with trembling hands. But Naomi's in trouble. She called me crying. She's fine, Lila, Dad interrupted. You're scaring your mother. I realized they wouldn't help. No one would. So I packed a flashlight, snacks, and the only clue I had, a screenshot of the mansion from Naomi's first selfie. I was going to find her, even if it meant sneaking out, even if it meant stepping into a nightmare. The woods were colder than I expected. Every crack of a twig sounded like a scream, and my flashlight's beam barely cut through the fog. But after almost an hour, I saw it. The mansion. Tall. Silent. Draped in ivy and shadows. It looked like it belonged in a horror movie. I crept around the side, hoping to find an unlocked window or back door. I was about to give up when I saw one, cracked open just enough. Heart pounding, I climbed in. Inside, the air was wrong. Heavy. It smelled like lavender and something metallic. The hallway stretched forever, lined with paintings of girls, all with the same terrified smile. And then I heard it, a soft piano melody, coming from deep within the house. I followed it, step by step, drawn like a moth to flame. And when I peeked into the music room, I froze. Naomi was there, playing, but her face, her expression, it was blank. Naomi! I whispered. She didn't even flinch. Her hands continued moving across the keys like she wasn't in control of them. I stepped closer. Naomi, it's me. It's Lila. Please wake up. She blinked slowly. For a second, her eyes seemed to clear. Lila, you shouldn't be here. What happened to you? What is this place? Suddenly, a voice echoed from behind me. You shouldn't disturb the artists during practice. I spun around. Mr. Aldridge stood there, smiling. I give them purpose, he said, stepping closer. Their parents didn't understand their potential. But I do. They're safe here, productive, immortalized in their art. You're brainwashing them. I shouted. He laughed. Oh no. They agreed to it. Eventually, I grabbed Naomi's hand. I'm getting her out of here. He tilted his head. If you try, I'll have to make you one of them. And then the lights flickered. The lights blinked again. And when they came back, Mr. Aldridge was gone. Naomi was trembling. He can't hear us if we whisper, she said, her voice hoarse. He watches through the portraits. I looked around. Dozens of eyes stared back at me from the walls. All the girls in the paintings, they weren't just portraits. They were real. Naomi pulled me toward a back door. He makes you play until you forget who you are, until your soul is stuck here. We ran through the halls, past twisted sculptures, and rooms full of mannequins dressed like ballerinas. Each room whispered a memory, names scratched into the wallpaper, sheet music stained with tears. Then we found the stairwell, a way out. But just as we reached the bottom, he was there, blocking the front door. I was hoping you'd stay, Lila, Mr. Aldridge said. You have such potential. His eyes weren't human anymore. They were glass, like a doll's. Get behind me, I told Naomi. My voice cracked, but I stood firm. Mr. Aldridge stepped forward. You don't get it, do you? I don't want to hurt you. I want to preserve you. Forever. I looked up at the painting behind him. It was me. Already painted. Already hung. I finished it last night, he said softly. Didn't you feel it? The moment your curiosity became destiny. That was it. This wasn't about art. This was about control. Capturing people. Freezing them in time. Naomi whispered, There's a mirror in the gallery. Smash it. It's the only way to break the hold. I lunged to the side, dashing into the next room, the gallery. It was a maze of canvases and gold frames. But in the center I saw it, a huge ornate mirror. Mr. Aldridge's voice boomed behind me. Stop! I picked up a heavy statue. And through it, the mirror shattered. A scream, no, hundreds of screams, rushed out in a wave of sound. The lights exploded. The paintings caught fire. The house was collapsing. Naomi grabbed my hand. Run! We barely made it out. The moment we hit the front steps, the entire house gave a deep, echoing moan, like it was alive and in pain, then collapsed into itself in a cloud of dust and fire. I turned back, coughing, eyes stinging. Where there had been walls and windows, now there was nothing but rubble and ashes. Naomi stared at it silently. "They're free now," she whispered. "All of them." I wanted to ask who she really was, how long she had been there. But her eyes said enough. She smiled sadly. "I was the first. He painted me in 1904. I froze. But you're real. You're alive." She touched her arm, almost in disbelief. "You broke the spell, Lila. For all of us. I don't know what happens now. But at least it's over." Then, just like that, she walked down the street. And vanished. I never saw her again. I went home, told the police everything. But when they got there was nothing left. Not even the ruins. Just a patch of scorched earth and a single, untouched painting lying in the grass. It was mine, but I wasn't in it. The canvas was blank. I never spoke to anyone about it again. Not really. The school counselor said I had trauma-induced hallucinations. The kids at school said I ran away for attention. But I know what I saw. I know what I survived. And every time I see a painting now, I look closer. Sometimes, I swear I see the eyes blink, or a breath behind the canvas. I paint sometimes, too, to keep the fear at bay. But I'll never paint portraits. Not ever again. My name is Lila. And this was my secret. So, what would you do if you found a blank painting that used to have your face in it? If you liked Lila's story, please don't leave without showing some love. Hit that like button if the mansion gave you chills. Comment your favorite moment, or your creepiest art class memory. And make sure you subscribe to Ruby's Secret Files for more stories that haunt your feed. Until next time, keep your eyes on the canvas. You never know who's watching.